She ranks third among the best actresses in Hollywood. Her style and manners are still a role model, and her incredible look seems to still penetrate from the screen into the heart of every viewer. Audrey Hepburn was one of the most famous and successful actresses of the 20th century. And at the same time, she often felt deeply unhappy. From childhood she had imagined herself a princess, as in the book she had. Audrey's mother Kathleen Ruston, Baroness Ella van Heemstra, said that the book was sent to her by the Queen of the Netherlands, who was a distant relative. As a child, Audrey loved to draw, and her drawings often featured royalty, which she considered herself to be. Her parents supported Adriana, as she was called in the family, in her dreams and brought her up as a real princess. Her mother asked her daughter to promise not to become as full as she was, because princesses are not like that, and her father, Joseph Victor Anthony Hepburn Raston, kept emphasizing that the girl had to give up her favorite chocolate in order not to get fat. Audrey loved her father very much, so it was a real tragedy for her when he left. She was only 6 years old at the time, but she has always felt that the most traumatic event in her life was not having her dad in her life. Even the war had less influence on the girl, although young Audrey had a hard time. Her parents at first actively supported the Nazis. Later her mother changed her beliefs, but her father was arrested for fascist activities during the war. Her mother's family suffered greatly during the occupation, and during the siege of Arnhem, where they lived, the family subsisted on biscuits made from flour made from tulip bulbs, which caused Audrey to develop severe anemia, respiratory problems and edema due to malnutrition. After the war, Audrey took up ballet in Amsterdam, where she moved with her mother and 2 brothers. In 1948, she moved to London, where she worked part-time modeling and continued to do ballet. Then she decided to keep her surname Hepburn, excluding from it the part Ruston. When the head of the ballet, Marie Rombert, told Audrey that prima she will never become because of weak physique and high growth, the girl decided to devote herself to the profession of actress. At first Audrey starred in films in episodic roles, and later William Wyler invited her to the role of Princess Anne in the film Roman Holiday. Then she also responded by agreeing to the proposal of James Hansen to become his wife. But the wedding was not destined to take place. Soon it was announced about the cancellation of the engagement. She had never been passionately in love with her fiancé. It's just that at one point he seemed like the prince from a fairy tale. But then she was hit by an avalanche of popularity, and Audrey felt it was unfair to her fiancé to force him to stay in her shadow while she enjoyed her work and the attention of her fans. On the set of the film Sabrina she met William Holden, in whom she fell in love with all the fervor. It seems that she found in him what she subconsciously looked for in all her men, a kind caring father, able to shield a little girl from all the problems. They could sit side by side for hours and just look at each other, enjoying the extraordinary closeness of their souls. Sometimes they would go out of town, William would put on a record and Audrey would dance for him alone. True, Holden was married, and his family raised 2 sons, whom he loved very much. Audrey Hepburn also dreamed of children and even promised her lover to give him many babies. But William suddenly informed her that he would never have children again, as he had specially made himself an operation. This actress, who dreamed of becoming a mother, could not bear it. She at one point interrupted their relationship. After Audrey dated theatre producer Michael Butler, but she married actor Mel Ferrer in 1954. They met a year before the wedding at a party, and Mel completely charmed Audrey. He did not say beautiful words, did not throw fur coats at her feet, did not shower jewelry. Ferrer somehow took care of all Audrey's problems at once. He found a play for her, became an entrepreneur himself, and surrounded his beloved with the kind of attention and care that she had not experienced for a long time. However, her mother convinced Audrey that Mel was the sort of person who did not particularly value family life and, having been married 3 times already, was unlikely to limit himself to a 4th for the rest of his life. The actress didn't want to hear anything. He vividly described their marriage, the children in it, and could bring her coffee in bed in the morning and wrap her in a warm blanket when she fell asleep. He was so much like her daddy as she remembered him. Audrey Hepburn got married, but the reality was nothing like she'd imagined. And not at all like Mel's stories. His career did not particularly add up, and the title of celebrity husband Ferrer was not satisfied. Very quickly he took control of the whole life of his wife, talking instead of her on the phone, decided with whom she communicated, with whom to film, or on what stages to perform. Audrey didn't seem to notice anything. She had more important things to worry about. She couldn't have a baby. 2 of her pregnancies ended in miscarriages. By the time she still managed to become a mother, Audrey has already had time to be disappointed in his husband. But before parting with him was still 7 years and 2 more failed pregnancies. The reason for parting was the cheating affair, but the divorce was formalized a little later, when in the life of Hepburn herself there was a new love. Audrey met psychiatrist Andrea Doty on a Mediterranean cruise with friends in June 1968. He helped her to understand herself and get over the separation from her husband. The actress for a long time was afraid to allow even the thought of the official dissolution of the marriage, as she remembered how acutely experienced the divorce of her parents. At first, their relationship resembled a simple communication therapist with his client, but later Hepburn convinced, she found in Andre a real friend, caring man and, perhaps, the father of her future children. When she married Andrea, she was ready to give up work and devote herself to her family. But, as it later turned out, her husband, who was 10 years younger than her beloved, did not share her opinion. After the birth of their son Luca, Audrey became like a real Italian wife. She learned to run a household, selflessly cleaned the house and brought up children. But Doty wanted to remain the husband of a major star. Gradually, he became disillusioned with Audrey and had an affair on the side. He was again not like a caring father, which Audrey was looking for in all her men. The couple divorced in 1982. But for the last few years their marriage was just a formality. The last love and true happiness Audrey Hepburn considers Robert Walder, with whom she was close from 1980 until his death in 1993. After 9 years of relationship, the actress called the time spent with Robert the happiest of her life. It seems she met what she had been looking for so long when she was already in her 50s. She was happy and considered Walder her common-law husband. He, on the other hand, never tried to get any dividends from his celebrity relationship. He simply loved and enjoyed every minute he spent with Audrey. She found in him everything she had been searching for all her life: immense love, selfless friendship and care. She finally felt like a weak, fragile woman again. Unfortunately, they were measured only 13 years of happiness. In 1993, Audrey Hepburn died of stomach cancer. In the memory of most fans, she will always remain a thin, big-eyed and very young girl from the films Roman Holiday, Funny Face and Breakfast at Tiffany's. Over the years, Audrey Hepburn's beauty and charm have not only not faded, but have blossomed into a lush flower, fueled by life experience and constant inner work, as it happens with truly harmonious and purposeful individuals.